Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy back at it again. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Rico, representing the Buffalo Fanatics. If you don't know, now you know. Draft time is upon us. We're days apart. I don't know about y'all, but the excitement is starting to rise. The excitement is starting to rise. And this is the season where you start to kind of hear some things, whether true or false. There's all that in between stuff. There's all that in between. And I mean, obviously, we got to get into a few things before my man Carl Jones shows up. He'll be joining us momentarily. But let's talk about a couple things, man. First of all, most importantly, salute to everybody tuned in right now. Salute to y'all. Y'all know what time it is. I mean, we can't, you know what I mean, start the show without, saluting for those that have been tuning in religiously, tuning in consistently, showing some love to your boy. I'm a little earlier than I normally am because I got some plans afterwards. So, we had to do it. And who better to bring in than the homie Carl Jones? I mean, you guys know who he is. I don't got to tell you none. You already know what time it is. And my man's making his ways around and getting his thing on. Anyway, what it do, everybody? Let's get into it. Before we get into draft talk and where the heck Bean is going, obviously Bean had a lot to say today, and he was sharing some nuggets, if you will. And another thing is a couple things around the corner here. Do we make anything of James Cook not showing up? Is he justified not to show up? Some folks might say, if you want to get paid so bad, you would show up to these things. You know what I mean? In good faith. Some folks are like, nah, bro. This is the business. It's keyword voluntary. Voluntary. All right? Not voluntold. You know what I mean? It's voluntary. I show up if I need to. Now, most folks would show up. You know what I mean? But right now, obviously, contract talks got him a little sour. I like how Brandon Bean is playing like, well, nobody told me he's unhappy. Brandon, please. Brandon, don't play that game. You know he's not the happiest. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how that all shakes out. I mean, Brandon sometimes can be unpredictable. He might say things have changed, and we've decided to make We've decided to make James Cook a long-term player for this team, and we see the future, and et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? Things do change. He usually is a man of his word. If he says we're going to talk about it next year, we're going to talk about it next year. But if James Cook starts playing lights out, and it's like, okay, he motivated. All right, shoot, you know what? Let me just lock something up right now. Hey, you just never know. You don't know how these things play out. Now, my opinion, James Cook not showing up to voluntary, OTAs. Who cares? Who cares? And I don't blame him. Y'all don't want to pay me. So all it would take is for me to, stretch and I pop my, I do something and I'm in my last deal and I'm cooked. I am in no good shape. So who does this bode well for? You know who. It bodes well for my guy, Ray Davis. Ray Davis is ready to take full advantage of this scenario. Now, it's OTS. It really means nothing. Now, if James Cook, which I highly doubt he does, decides to continue to, to continue to I ain't showing up for, mini camp. I ain't showing up for training camp. Now it's a whole different ballgame, which I highly doubt that he does. But that's neither here nor there. So, it's OTAs, man. But it is good to see that the boys are showing up. You know what I mean? The $250 million man showed up, big smiles. He looked a little slim. Didn't he look a little slim to y'all? I don't know. To me, he looked a little slim. I actually quite appreciated that he came in, slim and slender. Normally, if you guys know, when the nose is up there, you're fully in love. You tend to, pick a couple LBs up. You tend to do that. Now, I don't think he's gonna do that because he's a very disciplined young man. But when we find that boo thing. We start going out to eat a little more. I love the way you are, boo. Don't change. You know the drill. We pick up a couple pounds on the love handles. Nah, babe, I like that. I like that size. Well, my man came in slim and slender. He knows the deal. Love to see it. He's focused because he knows we've got business to handle. And the business to handle is to freaking officially bring home the damn Lombardi. That's what it comes down to, folks. That's what it comes down to. Bring home the Lombardi. Secondly, did y'all see Kincaid? My man Bobby decided to make a crack a joke, but I didn't mind it because he was looking at Kincaid, and I'm just saying, when did the season end? The season ended in what? Early February. I mean, is it too soon to have seen if Kincaid put a couple pounds on him? Maybe not, maybe so. Some people say, hey man, I would have loved to see him look heavier. But I mean, we didn't draft him to be a big time heavy tight end, but you have to heed what your GM says. You know what I mean? A couple of the injuries that took place where I want to see what he does in the offseason. And that's code word for let me see what you come in. I need you to be a little more durable. I mean, so is it for you to put a little bit more weight on? Do you have to hang out with Dawson Knox a little bit more? I don't know. But he looked a little slender. But I mean, listen, oversized t-shirts, you just never know sometimes. You just never know. So we'll see. And I'll gladly get my man Carl Jones his opinion on some of these things. He's not one to play the political game, so I love that about him. Yeah, I mean, he keeps it a buck. I love that. But without further ado, I'm gonna jump in to this show with my guy Carl Jones. He's in the green room right now. Just give me that flex. You know what time it is. Bang! Here we go. And then we'll get into it, man. So hopefully, I'm ready to pick Carl Jones's brain with some of these things, and I want to gauge where he thinks these Bills are going because I'm not sure what to think. I'm not sure what to think, and I also want to get his thoughts on the mock draft that the founders of the Buffalo Fanatics put out. I want to see where he really thinks because I really think I killed that. But Z-Bot won that one by a landslide. How? Because he picked. I'm hating Z-Bot. Yeah, you heard me. Because he picked 3 guys that are not going to be available. I mean, one of them will be, not 2. You're tripping. Anyway, without further ado, let me get my guy Carl Jones in. Carl, what's up, B?
What's up? How we doing, man? How we doing?
We're doing great. Look, are you buttoned up? I was hoping that you're gonna wear the suit and the tie. No, not today.
Nah, man. It's getting a little, the weather turning out here, so it's a little steamy in the sports office. So I gotta relax a little bit.
I see you went to see the barber.
You feel me? Yesterday, yeah, I got right. You feel me? Shout out to my boy Dom. He got me right yesterday.
There you go. Shout out to
your boy was looking rough out here, but he brought me back to life.
Listen, brother, I feel it. I get it. I mean, I told everybody I was gonna shave my head. You guys thought I was playing. Yo, boys, Carl Jones, give it to me. What do you think?
Is you going for the Baldini or are you trying to go with the low boy like the 0.05? What we going on?
I went with the 0.0 all the way, and then I mean a couple of days my hair grows back a little bit more. But are y'all feeling
you looking grown, looking real grown.
Yo, you know what I said? I told my wife, like, yo, this look gives me the serious. When I put my glasses on, I look like I'm serious business. Like, who is this guy? Who is this guy, man? Someone said I'm looking like Joe. What? Anyway, that's the look for now. Because sometimes when you be doing too much, man. So I just say, yo, I just shave my own thing. Right? These haircuts are costing a brick these days. These boys are doing all this special stuff to get their money up. I don't blame it. But your boy had to go back to the old school look. And we here now. You know what I mean? So you feeling this one, or should I go back and grow it out again? What do you think?
Nah, dog. Rock with it, my boy. It's grown, real grown.
Hey, he said rock with it. Rock with it. Here we go. Let's get into it because I need your thoughts, bro. We haven't talked on draft day. I know you're excited.
Yeah,
I know you're excited. Yeah. So the sexiest position in football is the cornerback position. I know you agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's in all of sports. You said football. Scratch that. In all of sports.
Listen, in all of sports, when it's after the shortstop, and then after that, we don't know. It's cornerback, shortstop. Shortstop's a pretty sexy position.
You know, it's cornerback, big gap, shortstop. Then everybody else. Yeah.
All right, I got you. So, where do we go? Okay, let me start with this. James Cook doesn't show up for OTAs today. Something to be concerned about? Is this something that's going to grow? Do you think this is something that grows later into the offseason, or is this strictly I ain't showing up because I don't need to show up? Simple as that.
If I had to say right now, I don't think it's too much of a concern. Okay. I know Brandon Beane added the caveat that it's not certain that it's about the contract. I'm of the belief that's more of a political thing more than anything, but that's what he's supposed to say. If he doesn't show up for the mandatory portion of minicamp in early June, I think it becomes a little bit more of a story. But with the new CBA and how damaging it is for players to hold out, I don't think this will be something that the Bills will have to worry about going into the season. It's just for those who aren't really aware of the new collective bargaining agreement that the players that they agreed to, I believe in 2020. I think it was COVID, if I'm not mistaken. Before then, it was a little bit cheaper. It wasn't as harmful to your pockets to hold out. I believe it was. Don't quote me on it, but it wasn't what it is today. Now I think it's like $100K, and that adds up. And so them boys, you saw what Hassan Reddick did and how much money he lost last year. Ooh. And he already has signed a big deal. So James Cook hasn't signed his big deal yet.
No leverage.
So he doesn't really have the leverage or the bank account, quite frankly, to just go into that and afford. And that's no disrespect to him. And I don't think, and obviously it's not fair, but it's just the way that it's a chip that the Bills could play. So I'm not too concerned with it. I believe that he will show up at some point before week 1. And I'm of the belief it will be before training camp.
Well, I appreciate that. They say that by the way, the hair's growing out. I don't know.
I wish. You know what? I appreciate that compliment. Your boy, it's just a fresh yop. That's all it is. Listen, I'm low key of the belief that I got about another 5 to 6 years before it's going the other way. So
no, you good, man. You straight. You straight, man. Don't put that out there. Don't put that out there like that. All right. Listen, man. First of all, I gotta say I miss you, man. I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute. I mean, you be busy. You be doing a thing, but it's always good to see you.
We're always love, man. I seen you pop up in the DMs and say, "Yo, it's my dog Rico, man." But I've been diving into this stuff, man. I was telling other people 2 things. One, I'm a college football guy at heart. That's like my bread and butter. So this time of year is like blending the 2 worlds, my job and then my baby. So it's fun to see these guys who I've been watching. Quite frankly, a lot of these guys I've known who they were since 16 because I'm like that weird into like the recruiting rankings.
That's crazy, but that's amazing too. At the same time, I gotta say this though. There's a young kid that goes to my church. Mm-hmm. He just turned 16. He's reclassified to go to prep school in the States. Okay, and he's 6'3" already playing corner.
Yeah,
he's a grown man. I was like, so. Look out for that, brother, man. I'll keep paying because you just mentioned me. You've been paying attention to these guys for 16 and stuff like that. Bro, I'm looking at this kid. It's unbelievable. These kids, I don't know what these kids are growing. I don't know what they're drinking and eating. Boy, oh boy, it's craziness. All right, let's get into this first and foremost. Brandon Beane earlier today, and I want to get into what Brandon Beane had to say and your thoughts on it. One thing he mentioned, a couple notes he mentioned. He said something about to the nature of, I'm paraphrasing, a run-stopping defensive tackle, but I'm not necessarily looking for like a run-stopping defensive tackle. I want one that can pass rush. Does that now sway your mind? And when you think of pass rushing defensive tackle that obviously is a gap stopper, can play the 0, can play the 1, but which one has the ability to rush the passer? Is Walter Nolan in play for this, or is there somebody else that stands out? At least 2 players.
Yeah, so I'm happy that he mentioned that because there's been a lot of chatter, and I think the Bills are the one team where it's a little bit more sensitive of the topic and speaking on the defensive tackles. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people want the big dude in the middle and just like clog up 3-4 gaps or whatever and say, hey, you're not running down Broadway Street. Having said that, those guys don't go early in the draft. That's funny right there. Those guys don't go early on in the draft. Like they just don't, because you win football games on 3rd down and in the 4th quarter. And a big boy who just who gets down in a 4-point stance doesn't really help that out. Like I've posed this question for the past 4 months. Does having a big boy who weighs, and this isn't specific to any prospect, but does having a big boy who plays on 1st and 2nd down and stuff to run help beat Patrick Mahomes in the 4th quarter? He doesn't.
Talk to me.
And that's no disrespect. They need that player. They do.
I got it.
But that's not priority number 1. You do need a defensive tackle who can take down a Patrick Mahomes, who can get after him. Now, I'll say that, having said that, those guys who are the blend of both worlds are very rare to get. And that's where you have to take some chances and project a little bit to see if the skill set or the athleticism that they bring on paper translates to the next level. So a couple players who are a little bit in that mode, obviously Derek Harmon out of Oregon. Big boy, I think he led all the defensive tackles in college football last year with 55 pressures or so. So he's clearly a guy who has 3-down capability.
Mm-hmm.
Walter Nolan is another guy like that, a little bit more of a wild, a wild horse, because his highs are about as high as they get. I mean, he was a 5-star coming out of high school, I believe, in 2022 for a reason. He was that boy. But then his lows, I didn't seen him on his back a little bit too much for my liking, right? So I think you got to channel that. And then the wild card of that group is Kenneth Grant, who has shown, and based off of you look at height, weight, speed, that he can be a run stuffing guy. And then he shows you a plays here and there that he can get after the passer, but he hasn't put it all together. Speaking on Kenneth Grant, and I think I'm going to bring it back to my playing days. I remember when I was in college, we played Clemson, and they had this big boy. These 2 defensive tackles, Christian Wilkins and Dexter Lawrence. Mm-hmm. Christian Wilkins was the one that got drafted higher because he had the more production. He was the guy that you could project on film. You saw him get after the pass rusher. So it was easier for NFL evaluators to say, hey, he can do that at the next level. That's more valuable. Dexter Lawrence dropped a little bit, even though he was this big run-stuffing guy at 340 pounds, 5-star, all that good jazz. It was a little bit harder to project him getting after the quarterback because he didn't do it at Clemson. Now, the Giants made a bet that he would develop into that player, and lo and behold, 5 years later, Dexter Lawrence can get after the passer. I believe he had double-digit sacks last year. So if you look at guys like Kenneth Grant, and there are a bunch of other players down the line, Tyleik Williams, Jordan Farmer, you have to be able to find the guy and project a guy who can get after the quarterback, because if you're taking a run-stuffing D tackle in the first round, how does that help you on third down? How does that help you get after Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes?
That is so interesting that you mentioned that, because I'm looking at some of these prospects, and one that stood out to me very much so is Tyleik Williams. There's something about Tyleik that does it for me. I mean, part of Ohio State's #1 rush defense, #1 pass defense. Listen, that defense was legit. That's a legit, and he was part of a great squad. Could you see the Bills kind of saying, you know what, maybe that's the mold, the type of play that we can stuff the run? He's got a little bit of a tool bag that can get after the passer. What are your thoughts on Tyleik Williams?
So for one, obviously, as an Ohio State fan, I watched him a lot over the past couple of years.
Of course.
And to tie it back to that last conversation, if you're a defensive tackle who has shown on tape that you can get after the pass rusher and stuff the run, you go in the top 10. So for those who say, oh, well, we haven't seen him do both. Yeah, no crap, Sherlock. They wouldn't be available at 30 anyways. It's more of a projection. Having said that, Tyleik Williams, he fits in the mold of he's shown that he can stuff the run, and he's athletic enough to where you can profile him as a guy who can get after the pass, to get after the quarterback. I don't know if I would feel comfortable taking that at 30, but if you got some more capital and trade it back to 35, 36, to where you can get some more shots in the dark and maybe get another defensive tackle to pair by his side in that draft class. But I like him, though. I wouldn't be the worst pick in the world if he was there at 30, because I do think that he's a player that will help out day one. And then the upside is still there, but I don't think it's as promising as the other 3 tackles I talked about earlier.
All right. I'm so glad you brought this up, because let's talk about it. Okay. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that very well?
Yeah.
All right. Talk to me. If you were to pick and rank this final mock draft, I don't want you to be biased and choose me because you know me, we homies. You probably will choose me anyway, but I want you to give your honest thought. If mine is trash, call it trash. If Pierre's is garbage, 1 to 4, who do you like?
Wait, hold on 1 second. Let me pull this up on have you retweeted this on Twitter?
I have.
No?
I have.
All right, hold on. I think it'd be better if I just go on y'all Twitter account and look at it.
Take a look. Take a good look.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. So if I'm just going to go off the first round picks, I mean, if Kenneth Grant is there, I would.
This is realistic. I mean, if Kenneth Grant is there, great. I would take him too, but I don't think he's going to be there. But anyway, I don't want to sway you in any way.
Okay, so here we go. I am not a big Maxwell Harrison fan.
Okay.
For the Bills.
Okay.
Because he's about £183, and they have never drafted a corner that light. So it will be bucking the trend for something that they've done. I'm just speaking from a Bills perspective, maybe not how I think of him as a prospect. But for the Bills, I think that would be something different for them. But I like Jacob Parrish, but he's more of a nickel. So I don't know if that's more of a succession plan for Taron Johnson.
Okay.
If I had to pick something, but I don't think it's realistic to get all three of these guys, and I would probably lean Z-Bot, but like I out of the cornerbacks that were taken in the first 2 rounds, I like Benjamin Morrison the best. So Pierre, I'll take combined all of y'all boys. I'm sorry, I'm copping out, man. Take the Buffalo Fanatics, all y'all boys. Give me Tyleek Williams at 1, the most realistic one.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Makuba with the second pick, and then Benjamin Morrison at 62. So I'm gonna combine all y'all boys, and that's my way of copping out. But I do like Torrey Horton. I do like Batty out of BYU. Zaya Alexander is also a late round guy that I like, and then I do like you appealing to Buffalo, taking Sean Dolak in the 7th round.
I like that. I like that. You play the political. I told you, you'd be a great politician. I tell you,
man. Listen, I got a degree in political science. I know what I'm doing.
My guy, listen, I appreciate it because I love posting these things because you have people saying, "What in the f is that? Taking a safety in the 1st round? What are you thinking?" Now,
things happen.
This is where I wanted to bring this because I'm limited with time, so I want to be able to kind of get as much as I can out of you, and hopefully, I can try to do a mock draft with you. As we're here, because I got to watch my time with you. But here's the deal. Number 1, Brandon Beane. Earlier today, he said a couple things that stood out to me. And one thing that stood out to me very much so was picking 7 players is tough enough. I got 10. And I'm paraphrasing here. I got 10. So then it got me thinking, hold on. You already have a hard time now. Is this GM speak, or is this kind of general talk, or does he actually mean it? 7 is already tough enough now. And then he mentioned this though. I don't want to pick 3 guys just for the fact of picking an extra 3 guys, meaning 10 picks, picking an extra 3 guys that I know aren't going to make this chance to make this team. 0 chance to make this team. So that got me thinking: Is Brandon Beane moving up? Is he going to move up? I got 10 picks. My team is already stacked offensively. I don't really need to do anything on my offensive line. I probably will add a receiver. I don't know when. My quarterback is straight. My running back room is straight. Maybe I might add for depth, but I don't need to. Defense is where I can look at. Safety, defensive tackle, linebacker, corner. I mean, you could pick wherever you want to go. So I bring that up. What are the chances, or would you feel good about Brandon moving up? And is there someone worthy enough to move up?
I mean, I think it depends on how the board falls. I was looking at, we've been going over stuff over the past few weeks, of course, like all of us have, and I think that for those at home, if you get a little anxious or whatever on like, hey, when could they pull the trigger on certain moves? I'll say this: if you like a certain defensive tackle or cornerback that you as a fan are rooting for, I think the Denver Broncos are at 20 are the team that you need to bullseye, underline, italicize as the team that could.
The Broncos.
Likely them, and then the Vikings at 24 for 2 separate reasons.
Yeah, that's right.
For 2 separate reasons. The Broncos at 20 for the sole purpose of, let's just say, Will Johnson and or Jedi Barron, as well as maybe 1 or 2 of the defensive tackles are still on the board. From that cream of the crop, right? Are still on the board at 20. Once you get past 20, where the Broncos, they could draft a D tackle, but they don't need one, and then they don't need a cornerback. But after the Broncos at 21, the Steelers, they could use both of those positions. Cam Hayward is 35, and Darius Slay is 34, if I'm not mistaken. Chargers could use both. The Packers could use both. Vikings could themselves as well, but they need both. Texans might not. Rams could use both. So could the Rams. So could the Ravens, Lions, as well as Commanders. So all of those teams are going to need one of those positions. So if you as a fan are really dying for a prospect, that's one of the teams. The other is the Vikings for the sole purpose of the fact they got 4 picks. So they're going to move back. I mean, if you want to make a bet, just bet on the Vikings moving back just because they only got 4 picks. Now, if there are players, like I said, I think that I will be comfortable moving up for a Will Johnson and or Jedi Barron. I will be comfortable moving up for Derek Harmon. I will feel comfortable.
Derek Harmon.
I would. Yes, I would.
You don't think he might fall to 30? You're like, chances are no.
What's it? Okay, I am looking at this purely from an on-field evaluation standpoint. I don't know. And listen, those medical conversations that have popped up over the past 48 hours, they're also tied to Will Johnson as well, are scary. But I'm not a doctor, and I'm not also privy to those conversations about the medicals. So just sticking to purely on the field, I think those 3 players I would be comfortable doing it with. So yeah, I think those are the players, and I'm not team trade up for a wide receiver. I'm not team trade up for really any other position outside of D tackle or corner. The 3 names that I mentioned.
Malachi Starks, high grade on him, best safety in the game.
I've loved him ever since he was at Georgia as a true freshman, and he made one of those plays. I was like, yeah, that's a Sunday player.
If the Bills select him and have to trade up from him, because I doubt he falls to 30, would that be holy crap? What Brandon been thinking, or can you make a case for a safety? It may not be Kevin Johnson or Kevin Wilson. I forgot what his name was.
Winston.
Kevin Winston. Excuse me. So a Malachi Starks. I think, in my opinion, I want your thoughts on this because I've been Pierre got me thinking. Right, I'm looking at his mock, and he picked a safety in the first round. Maybe the safety is not the bad pick. It's just a name. Had it been Malachi Starks, you can really shore up that back end. It's all about improving the position. If Malachi Starks is drafted, I think he plays over Bishop. I think he plays over DeMar. I know he plays over DeMar. And Derek Forrest, I'm sure he plays over Derek Forrest. So you have a starter in Malachi and Taylor Rapp. Now you have what you kind of missed out in having Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. I'm not comparing the two.
Right.
But you bring a dog like Starks back there, you kind of have a little bit of insurance and say, maybe Tre'Davious White will be all right. And we could do that. Could you see something like that happen? Would it shock you, or that would not be the right move for the Bills?
It would shock me a little bit if they traded up for a safety. For one, they really like Cole Bishop. And once again, I'm going to speak from a perspective of how they've moved.
Tell me more, because some people are asking about that. They don't know. Yeah. They didn't see enough from Cole Bishop, so talk to me.
Yeah, they really like him. They obviously want to see more, and they have to see it to prove. I would not be shocked if they take a safety on day 2, but on day 1, you are implying this guy will walk into the building and play, point blank, period. And I think that they want to give Cole Bishop the chance, the opportunity to earn that job. So I think I will be shocked, even if I love Malachi Starks as a player. I truly do. But I do think value matters in the NFL draft and where you're getting bang for your buck. Like, for example, I'm not really a big fan of taking a receiver in round 1 just because of the value of now you are either A, losing the value that you just gained in Josh Palmer, or B, losing the value that you just got in Keon Coleman. Right. Outside of the fact, I think the room needs improvement, but those are 2 separate conversations when you talk about a premium pick like in the first round. So I like Malachi Starks, like him a lot as a prospect. I think he'll be a great player in the NFL. But trading up to go get him, I think, will be counterintuitive to how the Bills have spoken about Cole Bishop over the past few months.
Because that's what I've been trying to figure out. 10 picks, he's not picking 10 guys. He's got to move some things around. So he's got to give up something somewhere. Right. So if he's trading up, he wants to secure this said player and not give a chance to the Chiefs to jump them, not give chance to the Ravens to jump them. Because if the Ravens, Chiefs, Eagles, and the Eagles I know will be active, if they notice at pick 19, Kenneth Grant's still there, or at pick whichever, they're going to move and shake. So the Bills have to be watching the clock around pick 15 to see, okay, what the deal is. And if they do, it's a defensive tackle or it's a corner. I need your thoughts on this one corner. And I'm a big fan of this corner. Yeah. If the Bills can find this guy and he falls to him, I'm loving it. Trey Amos out of Ole Miss. Love him. Talk to me.
Yeah, so I watched around 21 prospects this year at cornerback.
Golly, okay.
I mean, listen, it's the first year the Bills have actually had a dire need at cornerback. So I was diving into. It was up my alley this year, right? How fun it was for me over the past few months. And I have my top 3, obviously, wherever you want to put Travis Hunter. He was comfortably number 1 for me.
Sure.
Will Johnson, Jedi Barron, and then I was so comfortable. I'm so tempted, of putting Trey Amos in the top 3, but I do think it is a gap between them and him. But yes, he is. Gap? I think those 3 have upside to hey, they could be Pro Bowl players. I think that I think Barron and Hunter are athletic anomalies, while Will Johnson has instincts that you just can't coach/teach. He's a freak, but Amos, man, there's so many things that like he's long, he has good instincts
Yes.
in man or zone.
Yes.
There are two things with him. As you can tell, I'm excited to talk about him. There are two things that I really enjoy when watching Trey Amos. The first is that he is really well versed in zone, man, press, off. Because when you get to the postseason, and I felt like this over the past 4 years when watching the Buffalo Bills, they have a fastball defensively. But when you get to the postseason, teams are going to force you to go to your second and third pitches. Well, if you get to when you play against these elite quarterbacks like a Patrick Mahomes or a Joe Burrow, they're going to carve some of that your best up. So you have to be able to go to something different. And this past year, when they were forced to play man coverage against the Chiefs, because you remember that first drive, they carved them up in zone. They RPO'd them to death that
100%.
first drive. So the Bills had to pivot to go to man. And once you lose Christian Benford, there's not a single defensive back on that team outside of Taron Johnson that you feel comfortable playing man coverage with.
Facts.
Not one. And I say that with all due respect.
Yep.
So shout out to Channing Hill. I think those are all valid things of saying about Trey Amos. So if you bring in a guy like Trey Amos, who I think is much better in zone than man, but if you give him a solid baseline of man where hey, we're playing cover one on 3rd and 6 here, everyone go follow your assignment across the field, you don't feel like he's a weakness, that's a valid thing. And then my other thing with him, and I know it's hard to talk about confidence and patience when you're not in the room with someone, but I've told you this before. When you look at a quarterback, you know how you know they're confident and locked in? They feet. That 3-step drop, hit that back foot, the ball out. 7-step drop, that back foot, the ball is out. It is no different with a cornerback. When you watch Trey Amos in press coverage or in press bell, or when he is backpedaling out, no matter the alignment or how far he's off the ball, it's smooth, it's controlled. It's kind of like when a pianist is playing and he's just in his zone. And I think that is so crucial when you have a cornerback who is confident, because all these boys can run. All these dudes is outside of Azariah Thomas. They're 4.4s. They can jump out the gym. They fluid. They can do this and that.
Yep.
But the other half of the game is mental. And I think a guy like Trey Amos, from what I've seen on film, leads me to believe that he can do those things opposite of Christian Benford, and they can lock down a secondary pairing for the future.
Benjamin Morrison, and that's another guy that I like a lot. I like his confidence. There's a confidence about how he plays. I don't know if you sensed it. There's like, I don't care who I'm covering. I got you. I can cover you. He's not small, 6 feet. I mean, $190, 95 or so. So tell me, could a Benjamin Morrison fit Notre Dame corner? Can he fit with this Bills type of defense?
When you think of the corners that the Bills have taken, drafted, attracted over the past, let's say 6 years or so, they've been of the bigger type. We're going to talk about a Dane Jackson. You want to talk about a Levi Wallace, a Christian Benford, a Kyer Elam, a Rasul Douglas. The list goes on and on and on. Even Alex Austin, remember the guy, the 7th round pick that is now on the New England Patriots doing good things. Bigger guys. I know Trey White was a little different, but I believe he had longer arms, so he was kind of bucked the mold a little bit, right? And he wasn't Brandon Beane's pick, if you remember that.
That's right. McDermott.
Ben Morrison, I believe, fits the physical measurables that they seek out for: 6 foot, 100, mid, and 190 pounds.
Yeah,
all those things are great that you just mentioned about what he brings to the table, and I share the same thing. He played up against Marvin Harrison Jr. last year to a draw. They battled, and I love that at South Bend. The one thing with him that is a very scary concern, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not the thigh doc or none of these other boys, so I'm not about to speculate on it.
No doubt.
He's had 2 hip surgeries, which is not ideal when you talk about a defensive back, because your lower extremities are of the utmost importance. So I'm not about to speculate on how that does or won't affect his future. But if the Buffalo, listen, he's one of those players where he's either on your draft board or he's completely off. It's not one of those things.
One or the other.
Just because of 2 serious hip injuries in 4 years is nothing to sneeze at. So I like him as a player, but I think the medicals will have to check out.
This cornerback room, I see you have it all locked, bro. I see you look down on your nose.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Listen. I've been writing, baby. I've been writing.
I love it. All right. So let me kind of pivot a little bit. I want to get to the defensive line, because I feel like that's where most fans are thinking that Brandon Beane's gonna go. Mm-hmm. We carried 5 DTs and 5 DEs, right? It's 10 linemen already on the roster right now. I won't really count Zion Log, because we haven't really seen much about Zion Log, and he's more the depth piece. So there's only so much you can go and try to get. You have Michael Hoyt that's coming back from suspension, and Ogunjobi coming back from suspension. At this point, you got to draft some linemen, but you can't go too heavy linemen because then you're gonna have a surplus, and you can't have all these dogs and you got to sit a couple of them. I mean, it'd be nice, but like you want to be able to have a blend. So, does the two suspensions, do they play a big part in what Brandon Beane does in these first 3 picks, or I'm getting for the best player regardless of Ogunjobi? I signed these guys regardless. I'm picking a guy. Or does these 2 suspensions change the way Brandon Beane, in your opinion, will attack this? If you're the GM, are you kind of like, they're suspended for 6 weeks, I get them back, do I even bother with a high-end draft pick, or I can focus on other things, maybe the cornerback, the defensive back room, or I don't care, I'm going defensive tackle or DE, no matter how, no matter who?
I don't think it changes much for the sole purpose that it was a need before they signed them boys, and it was a need before the suspensions came out. Like, it wasn't like when they signed Larry Ogunjobi and Michael Hoyt that Bills fans were like, all right, D-line reset, we don't need nothing else. Like, it didn't. So well before the PED suspensions came to the light, I felt the same way that they needed some reinforcements up front. So if the board falls a certain type of way, you know what? We should probably go with this guy. Now, I'll say this. If there's a tie, let's say between, just shooting the shit here, if there's a tie between, let's say, a Kenneth Grant and a Trey Amos, I think they would have leaned Kenneth Grant regardless because of the positional value. Having said that, I'm sure somebody in the room will say, well, we actually need him because we don't got no one else for the first 6 weeks. So, like, that may play a small, like, role, but them boys need help up front regardless.
I like it. Let's kind of pivot here, okay? So we're talking about positional value. We're talking about all these positions, all these needs, and all the things. So hold on, let me get this back here. Okay, so I'm listening to you talk. I'm listening to you talk about the cornerback room. I'm listening to you. I'm looking at what we have at 30, and then 56, and all these things. And then Brandon Beane kind of hits us with a wild card move and brings back Tre'Davious White. I have to be honest, I didn't like it. I didn't like that we brought him back. With further conversation, I was trying to, my man Bot was like, this should not affect what Brandon Beane does once this draft comes around. I said, I think it does in a slight way, where he doesn't now feel the pressure to go out and get a guy immediately in the first round. I think they're going to give Tre'Davious White an opportunity to compete and start. I think it's the respect that he's gained coming back, and whether he becomes the same player or not, I'm not sure I like the move to bring him back. Your thoughts on it? And I mean, obviously you have to, you have to mindful of what you say, but like, I'm curious, did you like the move? Does it affect you in a way? Was there any point in making him come back? Was this more of a nostalgic move? Well, what are your thoughts on the return of Tre'Davious?
Well, I'll speak for, I'll two-part it. For what he provides as the man and the person, I think is very valuable for that locker room.
100%.
He's a player who's been there, done that.
I agree with that.
It'll be a younger secondary, so like having his voice and his presence around there, helping Christian Benford, who I know for certain wants a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro next to his name. Trey White has been there, done that. So a player having that in the room with you will help you out in terms of the next step he will want to take as a player. Now, in terms of the fit as the team, I'll say this. I think the up to $6.8 million is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here.
Okay.
And as we're recording this April 22nd, 7 p.m., Over the Cap North Spot Track, I do not believe have his contract details open. I'm gonna look. So they don't. So if it comes out that his deal is 1 year, like with a base of 1 year, 2.5, that is not a starter. That is not a starter whatsoever. Now, if it's more like 1 year, 6, and like he's only like 800,000 in incentives, well, then now I think there's a chance that they actually may give him an opportunity to go out there and compete. So once again, I don't believe it really deterred them whatsoever. I think they want to get into a position, as opposed to last season, I'll say this, where they felt like they were a little hands behind their back. They had their hands tied, where they didn't have many options to pivot to. in that AFC Championship game when Kyer wasn't playing maybe up to their standards,
right?
That they couldn't go into a different direction. So they want to just raise the floor of that room, in all actuality. So once again, I don't think it'll change things, but I do think the nostalgia factor, and it is real. Like when McDermott has been around that man since the day he entered the NFL. Brandon Beane not too far behind.
Yes.
To sit up here and say that plays zero role, I think will be a little naive. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt at the moment and say it shouldn't affect how they approach this draft.
Oh, and it sounds like I had a lengthy conversation with the boys in the group chat, and I was like, bro, I'm like, even before he left, I was like, you know what I mean? And that was like, after the ACL, I got it. You need to get back to it. And then he looked like he was getting back to it, but he just wasn't himself still. Maybe psychologically, he still wasn't quite there. And then the Achilles happened. And then you're like, okay, so they had no choice but to move on. But even then, I was like, he ain't the same player no more. And then you have a stint with LA, and I'm like, I hope he comes in and does great things. He's only 30. I mean, he's still a young man. So, but then it is a young man's game. It's a young man's game. And I thought we were trying to get younger. So you're right about this contract. We got to wait to see what these numbers look like. Because when Josh Norman got signed, they gave him $6 million. It was like a 1 year, $6 million, right? And I mean, shoot, it wasn't a good experience. It wasn't good. I think we all know that, right? So this is the tough part where I'm battling with. I love Trey White. You know what I mean, goalie, Louisiana's best goalie, all that. Get out of here with all that. I'm not buying that. Don't try to hype the fans up for this. Let's be real. Let's look at what he was doing on the field. Now, my man Pierre sent me some stuff from Ravens fans, and they were like, yo, we love the addition of Trey White. I think he was great. This is the piece we needed. So maybe Trey White is back, and he's ready to go because he got his confidence back. I'm just not sure. So I hope that they don't believe that, well, we can wait until the fourth round and get a corner that can develop, because they've done a great job developing. That's another thing too. Christian Bedford, 6th round draft pick, developed. Dane Jackson developed into a starter, right? Levi Wallace developed into a starter. They know how to deal with these DBs. So are they going to bank on that and say, yo, it's like DBU over here? We get these guys in shape. So I'll
say this though, and I do not want to cut you off, but
please.
I have heard that line of thinking that you just alluded to about it's factual. The Bills have done a good job of developing DBs. They're much more than the 3 that you just named. Having said all of that, though, when you get to the postseason, lifting the floor of some of these players isn't enough. Like, listen, giving Dane Jackson his credit for putting in the work himself, but for what they've collabed, Dane Jackson as well as the Bills secondary staff, to raise him as a player, it's a great story. But is that good enough to when you go up against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, does that match up? Is it good enough to when you go up against the Kansas City Chiefs and they have X, Y, and Z at receiver and Patrick Mahomes? Is that good enough? I think those are 2 separate conversations. So if you were to take a cornerback with an athletic profile that is a freak, the distance that you have to travel to make to help the player out is much shorter. And that's why I would be of the opinion that they need to take a guy within the first 2 days, that you don't have to say, oh, we turned a 6th round pick into a starter. How about you turn a 2nd round pick into a Pro Bowler? That's where we need to change the conversation to.
I respect that. That's why we brought my guy Carl Jones in the building, because I mean, he does things like this that make me excited. All right, so let me jump into this. Brandon Beane, stay put, trade up, trade down.
Gun to my head right now, I would say trade down.
Shotgun to your head.
I ain't avoiding that one. I got a big old head.
Let's go.
If I had to say right now, trade down, because I don't think the board will fall in a way that is conducive to sticking and picking at 30. Nothing on like, I think he's gun shy. I just think the 3 defensive tackles as well as Amos and the other 3 corners will be off the board by that point.
Who's your draft sweetheart?
In terms, I'm gonna stay. Well, hold on. I'm gonna be respectful here. I got 1 receiver, Kyle Williams, not necessarily a guy for the Bills because I still don't like them taking a receiver on day 2. But the guy out of Washington State, he got some sauce. He got some juice to him. Really like watching him. So if y'all haven't watched him yet, go watch him and follow his career. Good player out of Washington State. I got three sweethearts for you each day or section of the draft. Day one,
whichever. Talk to me.
Day one, obviously Trey Amos. I just talked about that. Day two, I'll give you. I think he'll be a day 2-ish guy. So maybe round 3. I know the Bills currently don't have a pick on round 3. But how about Noah Williams out of California? I really like him. Now he does out of California, excuse me. Kyle has 3 DBs, who will get drafted this year. So they were DBU, although I will say Syracuse, we threw the ball all over the yard against them boys. So shout out to them boys. Channing, once again, my boy need to be the next Mel Kiper for all the facts he's spitting today. But he's physical. He has the physical attributes the Bills love. He's a ball hawk. The one knock on him, he's very handsy and grabby. And some of that could be due to the fact that he doesn't have the best hips. But if you get the Bills coaching staff to maybe coach some of that out of him, I think that would be a good pick. Double dip candidate. You take him in the 2nd or 3rd, and then get another guy in the 4th or 5th round. And then on let's say day 3, I like Dorian Strong out of Virginia Tech.
Dorian Strong, okay.
Out of VTech. I'm gonna go to my notes real here. He's a little small on the smaller side, 6'1", 185. Not necessarily their cup of tea, but he has really good ball skills, good instinct, and I saw his tape against Keon Coleman. And I've been seeing his tape against Keon Coleman when they played the year prior. He battled especially at 185, Keon Coleman around 215. I like his capability to play once again as a double dip candidate, where the Bills take maybe a lesser athletic guy, but coach him up to be a starter in the National Football League, like they've done Dane Jackson. Alex Austin's now was doing good things for the Patriots, and then Levi Wallace in years prior.
Fill in the blank. This defensive tackle is overrated. This blank defensive tackle is overrated. They're overhyping him.
Yeah, let me look at the list real quick. It's a player that I don't think that the Bills have to worry about anyways, but Mason Graham, and it's no disrespect to him. I think that he is a good player, but I think that he kind of falls into the bucket of he's a 5th pick because the class isn't that great anyways. There's only one quarterback. There's not a Travis Hunter. I know he's an elite receiver, but outside of him, there's no Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, things of that nature. So I think that he's a player where really good D tackle, but he doesn't have the physical attributes to be Chris Jones.
As high as they have him.
Correct. And listen, he might go 5th just by nature of who the hell else would the Jags take, or whoever takes him in the top 10.
Okay.
But I think he's one player where it's like, people see top 5. Oh my gosh, all pro. I don't think that's his ceiling in the league.
Okay. Blank player from the receiver position. Overrated.
I don't know if he's overrated because I don't know if he'll go as high as people are projecting. But there are a couple names where I'm like, I don't know. One, Savion Williams out of TCU, I'm not a fan of whatsoever. When the first thing they...
How are you going to hail my guy, Savion Williams?
Listen, all due respect to my man from Texas Christian University. I'm sure he's a good man, Bible, God-fearing man, all that good jazz. And I hope he has a long, successful career and proves me wrong. But the one thing that I am not a fan of with college prospects coming to the NFL is when the first thing you tell me about if I were to ask you about Savion Williams, what do you like about him? If I were to ask you, what is your first thing you like?
His versatility.
See, I hate that. I hate that shit.
Why?
You know why? Why do I hate that? Because I don't want my receiver to take Josh Allen off the field in Wildcat. I don't want my receiver to take James Cook
versatility. I said versatility, not to take him out of because of Wildcat. I personally don't like the Wildcat, but I can put you inside. I can put you outside. I can put you at running back. You're a football player.
And how many of those boys do you know have been successful in the NFL? That boy Laviska Shenault is on the Bills right now for a reason. Okay, like Deebo Samuel might be the only one, and he played legit receiver at South Carolina. The San Francisco 49ers didn't try all the other tomfoolery until I believe until that running back got hurt in the 2021 playoffs. I draft a receiver to get open. And he didn't do that at TCU. At TCU, he couldn't get open, so they told him to go play Wildcat. And I'm not a fan of that. So play receiver, my boy. This is the National Football League, not
I'll push back football. A little bit. Let me push back a little bit.
Yeah.
Those traits, that physical ability, you're playing with Josh Allen, he'll get you the football. You do what you do. Sometimes it's who you're playing with. Sometimes it's who your OC is. Yeah. You know that. Yeah. I don't know who his quarterback. Well, who's his quarterback?
I have no idea.
Nobody knows. Exactly. Nobody knows. So you put him with the likes of Josh Allen, and you have the physical tools that he has. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to sell you. I'm just saying.
No, you ain't gonna sell me. I'm all the way out. But I'm saying now the only way where I would be like somewhat decent with if it's like the 5th round, where like, hey, you're just taking flyers on players by that point, and you're not expecting them to be starters, and you bet on those athletic traits. I'm for that. Like when the Bills took Justin Shorter for a few years back.
I didn't like that one.
You know, like, but you bet on the physical traits. And when they came out and said they like him as a special teamer, that should have been my bad, Laviska. No disrespect. He could be actually the Bills' kickoff returner this year. So I mean, that could be a good value for them.
That's probably where I went off with my mock because I had him as our 3rd pick or day 2 pick.
I'm expecting my round 2 picks to start at some point in the.
I hear you. I hear that. I was iffy about it. I was like, but they need a receiver. Where are they going to get it? But anyways, I like that.
I don't mind them taking a receiver in the first 2 rounds. Okay. He just can't be that boy. Like, and I know it's tempting. You see that, you like, ooh wee, and Laviska Shenault sold everybody too, and it didn't work out the way that everyone else thought. If I have to give you another receiver really fast,
give it to me. Deontay Thornton.
Deontay Thornton. Damn, who's that? Oh, out of Tennessee. I'm not a fan of guys who come out of that offense. There's no disrespect to him. I do think he's solid though, but it's tough. I was just gonna say Isaiah Bond.
Isaiah Bond. I've seen the Bills connected to that brother, but
yeah, I think they had him for a 30 visit, if I'm not mistaken. And listen, ignoring the off the field allegations that he's been accused of. So I'm not even gonna speak on that. I'm not in a position to do that, but I just wasn't a fan of if you at 2 separate spots at 2 premier programs, Alabama and Texas, you never really ascended into that player. I think it's more idea as opposed to actual projection and product at this point. Because if you look at his tools, you're like, man, that could be a nice number 3 receiver in the league for sure. I just haven't seen it in practice, and that's why I'm a little weary of taking him in the first 2 rounds. But a player like that, round 4 and beyond, by all means, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
You know what, Liz, I respect where you come from with these things, and I always want to know because some players get overhyped. I want to know who's being overhyped. There's always a riser out of nowhere. This person rises. Quarterback Jackson Dart. I keep hearing this name. Isn't that like that? I don't know how much you've paid attention on these quarterback prospects. And the last one, I'll get your name or your thoughts on it. Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur, they're playing with Shedur's name. I don't know if it's rightfully so, or they're just trying to shake things up because the team really does want him, but they don't want anybody else to take him. Is he going to the Raiders? Do the Raiders pull a Michael Penix move and say, no, I'm not messing with this. I'm grabbing my quarterback of the future because I know Geno Smith is not here forever? Or are the Pittsburgh Steelers going to make a move and try to get him?
Right.
What are your thoughts on Shedeur?
Starting with Shedeur, I think that he could be a good NFL quarterback in the right spots. This isn't fair to him, but it's just a fact of the matter. When you think of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL, I'll get back to that in a second, my man Silas. But when you think of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL, they all have one thing they can really hang their hat on. Whether it's Josh Allen with his freakazoid arm as well as his athleticism, same thing with Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. I can go down the line of all those guys. The only guy that you can probably say doesn't have an elite physical trait that you can see is Joe Burrow. But we all know that he has a computer in his brain, and he's the same dude that don't use motion and play action just because he's that damn smart and he can just
he don't need it.
He that smart. So when I look at Shedeur, I don't know if he brings an S-tier trait to the league that'll make his transition easy, and that's why he will need to go to a squad that can lift him up as he begins to develop and learn. I don't know why he couldn't be Teddy Bridgewater or Geno Smith in that class. I don't think he's athletic as Brock Purdy, so I wouldn't comp him in that tree. But I don't know why he couldn't be a Derek Carr. I don't know why he couldn't be Teddy B. I don't know why he couldn't be Geno Smith. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, for those who are completely out on him, I'm not a fan of that. But like, to sit up here and say that he can't play in the league, I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
I saw Pat Schumer, comped him to Daniel Jones.
They're not even the same player. Daniel Jones is like
I couldn't understand it. And you were his offensive coordinator last year. You saw him every day. What?
Daniel Jones is really athletic. Like, y'all seen him have multiple 50-yard. Shedeur, no disrespect to Shedeur. Shedeur not running away from nobody.
No. Not at all. No,
And
Leah, I was like, what are you doing? I baffled.
yeah,
Absolutely baffled. All right. Let's get to my man. Who was it asked the question? It was Silas. Silas asked you about Jalen.
The man out of VTech. Let me go to my notes real quick. I got my
Jalen Lane,
because I believe he's like
smaller receiver. He's a smaller receiver.
Yeah, he's one of those day two-ish guys. Yeah, he's a fast dude. I didn't see a lot of inside-outside versatility, but if you take him in for a workout and you saw otherwise, it's just so tough with a lot of these receivers because they don't get pressed in college. And like you don't know if they can play on the outside. So it's tough. But I like his traits. I believe he was a 4.3 guy. He's explosive as all get out. Matter of fact, I got his notes right here from my Google Docs. Yeah, explosive as all get out. 40-inch vert, 11 broad. Those are really elite for those who don't know. 4.3 explosive. My boy is all of that. It's just unfortunately for the Bills, they have like 4 guys who are best used in the slot: Dalton Kincaid, Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman. I don't know if I want to add someone like that to the mix.
I kind of with you on that one. I think they're trying to move away from the smaller receiver. I mean, I'm not saying Curtis Samuel's small, but Curtis Samuel's not a big man either. And they already have that. So I'm wondering what's their model? I wonder what they're going to do. People are trying to figure out what the strategy that the Bills are going to use for this. And I'm unsure. And that's why I bring in the expert. And the expert is my guy, Carl Jones. So first 3 picks for the Bills. Let's say they don't trade.
Right. Okay.
You don't need to give me a name.
Yeah.
Unless you've already done that already. But give me the position that you would go. Pick 30, 56, 62. And then we'll put your we'll put you to the test in a moment.
Let's go DT, corner, edge.
Okay, so you double dip at the edge. You double dip at the edge.
On the D line. Yeah,
so, on the D line. Excuse me. Yeah, you double dip on the. So you go DT. Listen, they're with you. The people are with you. Channing, you and Channing are.
And a big reason for that is I think the board will also fall in the way. Hopefully, obviously things change, and you might have someone like the Patriots take someone like, I don't know, Cole Strange in round 28 and throw the whole board off out of whack. But I think that's the way the board will fall.
Would you agree that the defensive tackle is deeper than the cornerback position?
That's a good one. It's better at the top. I think the top 5 DTs you would feel comfortable taking around. I don't know.
Usually, when I ask you questions, you're pretty on top of it. This is one. I think it's been a while since I stumped you.
I would probably lean defensive tackle being better. Yes, I would, but I don't think it's by a substantial amount. I do. Okay. I really like this corner class. I truly do.
Perfect. This is why I want to bring up this next question. I'm setting it up a little bit. So pick 30 comes along. Brandon B's picking. Trey Amos. All corners are still there. Jaday's gone. Johnson's gone. Okay. Starks is still available at 30, and then you've got all the other corners, and you've got Tylee Kill, and you've got Kenneth Grant still available. And are you taking a corner knowing that, man, these DTs are going to run by the time I pick at 56? Or do you try to trade back? Actually, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm making you pick.
Yeah.
So do you take a corner knowing, man, it's going to be a steep drop, and the corners are going to be gone? I think there's more depth at DT. I can get Alfred Collins maybe later on if you feel good about that. So what's your philosophy when it comes to that?
I would lean Kenneth Grant, and the reason why I go that way.
Okay. And I used Kenneth Grant just to see where your head's at.
Yeah, I would go Kenneth Grant, that player in general, for the sole purpose of, and this is an exercise I would love for everyone in the chat, Buffalo Fanatics and all that stuff. When you look at the value, you guys would just look at the value of really darn good big people. That goes for tackles, like offensive tackles, as well as defensive ends and D tackles. Those guys generally get drafted in the first 2 rounds. It is very, very, and listen, it's possible. I think Matabike was a 3rd-round pick. It's possible, obviously. Jason Kelsey, 6th-round pick. Those guys are generally found on day 1. So you want the greatest chances to take those guys at 30. I would lean that as opposed to cornerback, where you can find some really good corners on day 2 and day 3, and then pray and hope that a guy you like falls there to 56.
I kind of like that. All right, sir. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Hold on. We got a question for you. What's Carl think about Siobhan Ravel?
Yeah. I got my notes here. He's my 5th cornerback, barring medicals are fine. Please do not ask me if I know his medicals. I do not, y'all. I'm sorry. Go ahead though.
Is Thomas ahead of him?
No, my corners outside of the big three.
Give me your list. Give me your list.
I'll just give you the list. Yeah. Big three, cool. Amos, Suvon Ravel, Ben Morrison, Maxwell Harrison, Darian Porter. Jacob Parrish doesn't really count because he's a nickel. Azare Thomas, and then Noel Williams out of California. So those are my.
Oh, you got Noel Williams up there?
Yeah, I got him at 10. Yeah.
Yo, his game is nice like that.
I like him a lot.
So Maxwell Harrison, you said he's good, but you don't like his size, but you like him.
I like him. I just don't like him but this is all from a Bills perspective.
Understood.
I don't think the Bills at 30 will be comfortable taking a 180-pound corner. That will really go against everything they've done over the past 6-7 years.
What's up with Tommy Hill out of Nebraska? Did you do any homework on him?
You talking about the big boy up front, right?
Yeah. No. Corner.
Tommy Hill out of Nebraska?
Tommy Hill out of Nebraska. I just been seeing that name pop up a couple times here and there.
He's probably a player that I didn't get to. And if I look correctly, no, he's a big boy. God damn. 6 foot, 213. He's a day 3 guy for sure. Okay. I did not get to him. No, I'm not going to sit up here and act like I know him. But for those at home, he's 6 foot, 213. That's a big corner.
Zai Alexander, I heard you mention his name earlier today. What can you tell me about Zai?
He fits with the Bulls. Lord have mercy. Fits with the Bills like in corners. He's big. He's long. Out of LSU, he will be more of a day 3 type of guy based off of his athletic profile. I wouldn't feel comfortable taking him at 56 or 62. Maybe if you got back into the 3rd round, take him there. I'm not a fan of taking corners who aren't fast. He ran a 4.56 early.
Me neither. I agree.
But I really liked his ball skills, and I think that he can be a player that if you work with his tools, he can fit with the Bills, because speed is something that the Bills, a lack of speed is something that they've been able to work around. Maybe it doesn't help the upside of the room, but they can develop somebody like that into a starter. I can believe that for sure. Excellent.
Now, this is where I'm gonna hold you to it, because we're gonna do a draft together.
Yeah.
Because I know you got your press for time.
Can I draft myself really fast?
Yeah.
All right, but I'm taking me at number 1 overall. But go ahead.
Listen. They already brought you in. They already, you know how the number 1 pick is already is set. They already talked to you already. Contract's already set. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I got you. All right, so let me share this real quick. I put it on. I put it really. By the way, shout out to my man Chaney Hill that put me on this stick to the model draft simulator. I've been digging that, man. Chaney Hill, appreciate you, man. So we're gonna pick the Bills, and it's on quick. So let's see where we're thinking of. The only thing that I'm not too familiar. Did I do fast yet? Here we go. So let's see where we sit at. So let these things keep flowing. It seems pretty accurate. I'll kind of go through it a little bit, and then we'll get to our pick in just a second. And I feel like this might be so. Let's go to the draft right now. So Jahdae Barron, get out of here. The Jahdae Barron's not going to the Patriots. They're not gonna do that, but they may. You never know. So Jahdae Barron goes to the Patriots. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah,
perfect. Jahdae Barron to the Patriots. James Pierce Jr. I didn't ask you about James Pierce. What are your thoughts on James Pierce Jr.?
Long, like he can get after the passer, but doesn't really project as a big burly guy to stop against the run, and I think that's something that the Bills value.
I bet.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart went to the Raiders. Josh Simmons to the Patriots. The Chiefs traded up to the 22 spot. Nick Imawari, big safety, 6'3", 4. It runs a 4.3. Went to the Texans. And here, Walter Nolan to Detroit. That would be nasty if Walter Nolan goes to Detroit.
Yeah, for sure.
Kenneth Grant to the Ravens. Golly. All right. So here come the Bills. Available. So are we going defensive tackle? We want to see what's available at defensive tackle?
Let's just see what they got available. I don't think it's much, but go there.
So at defensive, golly. All right. Nah, this can't be right.
That's offensive tackle.
See, clearly, I can't even reach. All right, here we go. DL. Get that out of there. All right, we got Ty Lee, TJ Sanders, Alexander, Alfred Collins. Do you like any of these guys at the 30 pick?
We will in the back of mind, we'll keep Tyleek Williams, but then let's go to edge. Let's see what's available at edge right now.
Let's go to edge. Let's take that out, and we got Nick Skirton, Landon Jackson, Jack Sawyer, JT Tumaloa.
Yeah, go. Okay, check corner. God damn.
That's what I love about this team, man. We got Siobhan. Is it Siobhan? Is it Shavon or Siobhan?
Savone.
Oh, Savone. Golly, I've been missing. Okay, so the H is silent. Golly, what's going on with that, man?
Yeah.
All right, Savone, Maxwell, Trey, Thomas is there. Now, let me take a look at some trades because we got 4 offers.
Yeah.
So we got Indy wants to give us so they get our 30 and we get their 45 in the future.
That's dropping.
Jacksonville's giving us their 36 and a future.
Future what?
It doesn't say, just a future. So I'm guessing next year. Okay. And then you got they got the Chargers that want to give us the 55, too far back, and then you got the Jets at 42.
The only one I would entertain is the Jags at 36.
The future.
I would prefer taking Trey Amos there.
Let's go, Trey. Let's go with Trey. We'll go with Trey. Here we go. Things are they get a little dicey now, bro. Because this is where things get tricky. Nick Skirton's gone. Tyleek Williams gone. Benjamin Morrison gone. Landon Jackson's gone. Is getting dicey. Here we go. So shall we go to we stick to corner?
Not D-tackle. We already took corner. We solidified
that. You didn't want to double dip? You good?
No, it's too early to double dip.
All right. So we got on the edge. Hold on, let me get rid of that. So on the edge, we got Jordan Birch. Hey, yep. Josiah Stewart. I've been hearing some really good things about Josiah Stewart.
He can get after the passer. Yep.
Brady Swinson, Jared Ivey, Ashton Gallott, Kyle Kennard. Go down to Oladejo.
Go to D-tackle.
All right. DT, Alfred Collins, Omar Norton-Lott, Joshua Farmer, Deion Walker. Been getting some love lately. Turner, Robinson, and now we keep going. Aeneas Peebles, I've been hearing really athletic DT. Small, but athletic.
Ooh, okay.
I know. Now we got a trade offer. The Jets are saying, give me your 56. You can have my 73 and 110. They can go kick rocks.
Yes, agreed.
Let me go back to the chat to see what the chat is saying. The chat is saying Deion Walker. They're saying Farmer. Take Alfred Collins. What are you waiting for? Listen, silence is on your ass. Say Alfred Collins, man.
I would probably lean Jordan Farmer because I don't know if Alfred Collins projects as much in the pass game.
Josh Farmer, huh? You're feeling that?
Yeah.
First step quickness. Still adding some strength. So he's 6'3", 305 is a good size. The RAS score is 7.9. I kind of like that. I am with that.
Yeah, so I don't know if, from what I've read, I don't know if Alfred Collins. Yeah, I don't know if Alfred Collins brings much to the pass game.
So Swinson, they're saying take Swinson.
I like him. He's an athletic dude. I can see.
All right, we're gonna go Farmer. We're gonna go Farmer because my man said Farmer. We're gonna go Josh Farmer out of Florida State. Here we go. Pick 62. We're up next. How you feel? Are we going? Where are we going here? Because we got our DT.
Let's go back.
We got our cornerback. Let's go to the edge. Jordan Burke is right there, man. He's right there for the taking.
He is right there for the taking. Let me look at the notes I have really fast on my end.
Elijah Roberts could be taken from SMU later on. You feel good about him? I'm gonna look at some trade offers while you take your look at your notes. So Denver wants our 62. They want us to drop to 85 and 122. Kick rocks. LA Rams wants us to drop to 90. They can kick rocks too. The Saints want to give us the 71st and future. Yo, these trade offers are terrible, man. These guys can go kick rocks, man.
I mean, the draft class itself isn't great, so
touche.
Ah, man, I will probably lean.
Should we go to the offensive side of the ball to see what's out there?
Let me see what they got at receiver. Tell me what they got at receiver.
Now we're talking. All right. So out receiver, they got Trey Harris, Jalen Knoll. They got Jack Beck. You want a little bit of Jack Beck in your system or what?
Jack Besh.
Oh, is it Besh? Yeah, Jack Besh. Let's see. That confirms even more for me. Jack Besh. Jalen Royals. I've been hearing that name a lot. I think we're out on Isaiah Bond. I think you made that very clear. I am Nor.
Okay, so if So for the
There's your boy
chat,
Savion Williams.
Whatever. Anyway, my thinking in this exercise, I really like Trey Harris and I really like Jalen Noel. I would probably
With the 62nd pick though.
What?
Because that's the 62nd pick. That's your third pick. That's your 62nd. We're in the second round.
No. I said I like him, but for this exercise, I'm going to lean Jordan Birch. Excuse me.
Yep.
Don't want to mess my boy's name up. In terms of how they usually like their DNs, he's a big boy. He can crush the pocket a little bit. He doesn't really project or profile as more of the bendy type. They already have that in Javon Solomon, the quick finesse guy. So if you want to complement the room a little bit, hey, you have Greg Rousseau, the big boy up front, going to the future, because obviously if Joey Bosa plays well, then he can sign an extension, whatever. But they already have the bendy type, the smooth athlete in Javon Solomon. I don't want to double dip and take another one of those guys like Josiah Stewart. So let's bring in Jordan Birch, excuse me.
Love it. Now here things are gonna get dicey now, okay? Yeah, and this is where your notes got to come in, because I'm depending on you.
Yeah.
To show us the way. Yeah. So we are going down to now pick 109. All right. So we are now in the 4th round. This is where I want to see how deep your bag is and see what we looking at here. Savion Williams, your boy, is gone. He's out of there.
Great.
Here we go. So we now have a corner, DT, and we have an edge player. Shall we look at the safety position? Or are we good?
Who they got at safety? There's a couple of names that are intriguing that I probably.
All right, here we go. We got Jalen Reed. We got Castro, Malachi Moore. We got R.J. Mickens. We got Caleb Ransaw.
I like Jalen Reed, but let's go back to corner.
Oh, you're going to do okay. Let's go back to the corner room.
Let's just look at it. Let's see what they got.
Who we got? We got Denzel Burke, Zy Alexander. We got Quincy Riley, Noel Williams.
No Williams is staring you right in the face when you take Noel Williams and don't think twice.
I like that. Noel Williams to the Bills. All right. So listen, we're looking all right. So let's take a look at our picks so far. This is what we're looking at. We got Trey, Josh Farmer, Jordan Birch, and we got Noel Williams. Golly, we're going defense.
Yeah, we revamping that thing.
Defense, the name of the game. All right, man. We picked right now. It's time for the Bills to pick.
Yes, let's look at receiver really fast. Let's see what they got.
Let's go to the receiver room. Receiver room right now, we got Jalen Lane, Deontay Thornton staring ready to right the face, Pat Bryant, Shamar Deke, Kobe Hudson, Isaac Tesla, Nick Nash. We got
okay, hold on. Guys. I know Nick Nash was very productive at San Jose State, but if I'm not mistaken, for what I remember, he's not the most physically gifted guy, 4.57. Although he will project as an outside receiver.
Listen, they're saying Thornton
out of Tennessee, that boy.
Joseph Sanker. We got a safety. They want you to take Sanker, Joseph Sanker. They love the Noel Williams pick. They're loving that right now.
Listen, if there's one thing
McDermott's trying to save his job with this pick, man.
The thing about Dante Thornton, yeah, he's 6'5". I know, above 200 pounds, but Tennessee didn't ask him to do a whole lot, and it scares me when you take
with Josh Allen. Josh Allen makes you better.
Yeah. And then there are some other players that I won't name that y'all are like, damn, they're not good anyways. And how much did Josh Allen help them out?
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm not trying to disrespect nobody, but
I hear you.
He obviously lifts everyone, but he can't take you from the basement to the. Not calling Dante Thornton a basement player.
But you want an impact player.
Correct. Go to tight end. Let's see a tight end.
Oh, now we talking. Okay. I need to get your thoughts on this, because people have been mentioning tight end a lot. I don't even bother looking at tight end.
Right.
I got Dawson, I got Kincaid, and I got that big boy Zach Davidson that I don't mind. I think that he could develop into something. Do we need to look at tight end in this case, or are you kind of like, we do?
Well, they haven't brought back Quentin Morris yet, who does play for them, and he is a valuable special teams player, as well as he does. Here's the predicament, and I don't want to make this about a Dalton Kincaid thing.
Right.
The predicament that the Bills finding themselves in with a player like Dalton Kincaid, he's kind of like stuck in the middle. He can't block up to the capabilities to where you can just have him as your sole down in and down out tight end, right?
Okay.
And then he's also not that good of a receiver compared to receivers. Okay. Like, he's not a better receiver than Khalil Shakir or any other receiver in the NFL. So he's kind of stuck in that weird role. So I'm of the belief that they will take a tight end at some point in this draft.
Interesting. Okay.
Just someone who can block. Because if we get into the fourth quarter and it's 4-minute drill, I need tight ends out there who can move a MFer.
Absolutely. Yep.
So that's no disrespect to Kincaid. It's just his archetype, right? I see the tight ends. Oronde Gadsden I do like, but he fits more the Kincaid role, so he doesn't fix that.
My gosh, Oronde Gadsden, that's a name I've heard in a long time. Golly.
Yeah. Shout out to Syracuse for that one. All right, you know what we're gonna do? We're fourth round. We're best player available. Let's go. Let's just go to that.
So best player available. So I went to all.
Yeah.
And right now, this is what you're looking at. You're looking.
Just tell me the positions of them.
All right. So we got an interior lineman, a running back, LB, edge. We already went to edge. We got an offensive tackle. We have an RB and Damian Martinez, and another RB and Devin Neal.
I like Devin Neal, man. I like Devin Neal.
Me too. Is it too soon to take a Devin Neal?
I think it's too soon to take a running back. I do think so. Because if you take a running back in the fourth round, he has to make the roster.
Absolutely. I do agree. I got Jalen Lane sitting right there looking at us right now, but we can keep going. And then you got Jordan James, running back, linebacker, Kobe King, defensive lineman, JJ Pegues. You got Jeffrey Bassa. We got Elijah Roberts.
You know, if I'm not mistaken, Jeffrey Bassa is a fairly athletic linebacker, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Let me confirm it really fast, because if his RAS score is good enough, I would not mind taking a swing on a linebacker who's athletic.
That's what they say that they're talking about the
Jeffrey Bassa. We'll lock it in. 6'1", 230, but he ran a 4.6, jumped to 38.
And he's got a 6.8 RAS score. That's actually respectable.
It's respectable. It's not great, but it's respectable. We'll take a LB here, because they lost a lot of special teamers over the years as well. So we'll take him as well. All
right, but hear me out, because right now we got 2 Oregon Ducks on the squad. I mean, what you doing to me, bro?
Shit, I'm not happy about that either.
Here we go. So I mean, time. This is where things get tough, man. There goes your boy Devin Neal. He's gone.
Yeah. What round are we in right now? Fourth.
We getting there. We're in the.
They got 3 fourth-round picks, right?
Yeah, man. This is where things are gonna go quick. So, this is your best player, best available EPA.
Let's look at receivers. Let's go to receiver. I think it's time to add one of them.
Receiver room. Okay, we got Pat Bryant.
Pat Bryant, Illinois. I'm hip to him. I watched him.
We got Isaac Tesla. I saw some people saying that Isaac Tesla, or I think it was Nick Nasher, saying good special teamer. He'd be great. Elijah Badger. We got LeJontay Wester, Isaiah Nair, Ricky Samuel Bryan, Jimmy Horn Jr. That might be a little too soon to grab him.
Yeah,
that boy got some speed.
I will the problem is
we didn't even grab any safeties. We got safeties available.
Let's look at some safeties.
I mean, RJ Mickens is staring me right in the face right now, bro.
Who is
RJ Mickens out of Clemson?
Oh, out of Clemson. I like his tape. I did like his tape. Safety or receiver.
He's got an 8.6 RAS score.
We'll lean at safety. Yes.
Let's go safety.
We'll lean safety, and then
boom.
This guy, along with Hamlin and Forrest, will be the fourth safety to try to make the team. Yeah.
We're up again, brother. We're up again.
Let's go get us a big receiver. Hold on. Let me go look at the receivers. We need a big boy.
We need a big boy receiver, because right now did we pick any receivers?
No, we have not.
We are all defense, bro. Give me some offense, fam.
We need a receiver. I tried to give you a tight end. I tried, but none of the motherfuckers was helping me out here.
Let's see for size. You want some size, right? I mean, you had Savion Williams right for the picking.
No, I didn't. Anyways, no, I didn't. Hell no. Yeah, man. Not having a 3rd round pick sucks. I will say, you know what? Let's get some size. I've seen everybody in the chat talking about Tesla. 6'4", 215. He's very athletic. At worst,
9.9 RAS score, bro. Let me tell you, math bomb.
Yeah, you know, he's a freak athletically. I don't know how much he will develop into a receiver, because from what I remember from his tape, he's not really an outside guy, but neither is Mac Hollins. So I don't mind taking him there. Right. At worst, once again, he fills a void that Mac Hollins left. Mac Hollins was a special teamer as well. I was
watching there's a guy named Math Bomb. I think you should follow him. He's really good. He's the one that created the whole RAS score.
Yeah.
And I've had him on the show before. Super smart cat. And he was saying, he was calculating 1,000-yard receivers and if the RAS score have anything to do with it. And RAS score of like 8 and over, yo, you had guys that were hitting 1,000 yards like crazy, but the sweet spot was between like 7 and like 8 point whatever. And so I'm looking at these RAS scores a little differently now because that gives me a little something. If you're athletic enough, man, they'll get you.
Especially on day 3 of the draft. Especially on day 3.
Day 3 of the draft. So right now, Isaiah Tesla was our guy. So we got 3 more picks to go. And we're in the round 5. We got 2 more rounds after this one. We're in pick 173. Where we at?
Let's get us a tight end. Is CJ Dupree still on the board as a tight end out of Alabama?
CJ Dupree is still there out of Alabama.
He is that guy in terms of big boy, helps
6'5",
out in the run.
256. RAS score of 8.7.
He may not offer you much in the run game, but he can give you what Quentin Morris gave you for 4 years for the Buffalo Bills.
Let's do it.
And I like that, what he provides. Because the run game is important. I know everybody loves sexy and all that, but you know what's sexy? Touchdowns and points and blocking and running the ball.
Hell yeah. Let me get CJ Dupree. All right, so listen, the picks are coming in quick, man. So who you go? We got the tight end. I mean, I think this is where we get our running back, to be honest with you.
I think this is a good time. Where we are in the 5th or 6th
How you feel about Jaden Blue? Because I'm a fan of Jaden Blue.
He can run. He can scoot. He can truly scoot.
Yeah.
I don't mind betting on traits.
We got linemen in here too. We got tackles. If I was gonna get a lineman, I'd probably go interior line.
I agree because they already have Vandermark and I'm missing the other boy that they like on the outside. I like Jaden Blue though. He can scoot. He can truly scoot, y'all. Like if a safety don't have a good angle on him, it's house call. He's a smaller guy though. I think he's like 5'8", 5'9".
No, he's not a big boy. 6 feet. No, he's 6 feet 200, man.
Jaden Blue.
If runs a 4.3, has a 6.3 RAS score.
Got you.
Listen, if James Cook decides to say, "All right, man, next year I'm out. I ain't coming back to Buffalo," in comes Jaden Blue. Too soon?
No, I don't think it's too soon. I don't think it's too soon. How many corners have I taken? No, I've already taken Noah Williams and Trey Amos.
Yep, you got two solid corners.
Let's bet on
your picks right now. You got 2 corners. You got a DT. You got a defensive end, and you got Jeffrey Bassett linebacker. You got safety RJ Mickens. And you got yourself your big receiver and Isaac Tesla. That's a good. And you got a tight end, man. Looking good right now, brother.
Let me go back to the running backs again. Let me see that.
All right. And so far, they're grading us a B so far.
Yeah, but I don't.
When I say us, I say my man's great. He's graded a B right now, so they like what you're doing.
Yeah.
So here's the running back room.
Bump them. I'm a A+ type of guy.
Let's go. Let's go.
I like Jordan James. I do. He's nice between the tackles. I like him. He doesn't obviously not many people.
Good size, 5'10", 205.
Yeah, not many people in this class have as much juice as James Cook.
Right.
But he's kind of similar to Ray Davis. If you want some juice in the run game,
you want Trevor Etienne out of Georgia.
He's very linear. Yeah, he also has juice as well, similar to his brother. You know what? Let's take Trevor. I would prefer him over Jaden Blue for the sole purpose that I think he has legitimate like 3-down versatility because he can block. I don't think Jaden Blue has the profile to block.
I like the way you think, brother. I like the way you think. All right, so we got 2 more picks to go. Hey, you running through this like nothing, man. I love it. I struggle after round 4.
You just gotta think about it. Just bet on traits. Like I'm a big guy on traits.
Okay, I like it. We need linemen. Are we going interior lineman here?
We can.
Josh Gray. I don't know how deep your bag is.
My bag not deep on this. But I'm not betting on a kid from Oregon State. No disrespect.
All right.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, y'all. No disrespect.
I mean, listen, we got a safety, linebacker. We got the whole defense chewed up. Receiver, tight end.
No, we don't. We can always go. No. Defense wins championships. Go back to the D line, man. Hold on.
I like it. So interior D line, and we'll go edge. This is what's available.
Yeah.
You got Rucker.
Hold on. Take out the interior. Take out the O lineman. I see it's still up there.
Oh, still there. All right. Let me get that out there. All right. We got Rucker, Colin Oliver. We got Cam Jackson out of Florida. Simeon Barrow. Jr. out of Miami, Florida.
Nah, I see my
Fadil
boy
Diggs
still
out
on
of
the
Syracuse.
Yeah, you know it. Yeah, take him. I seen my dog.
My man Fadil's in the building. What are they saying about Fadil? Fadil nice like that? 6'4", 257, got a RAS score 9.3?
Yeah, take my dog.
Oh, that's nice.
Man. He balled out this year.
All right, bet. So we're going Fadil Diggs. We got another Diggs in the building. All right, last pick. Are we going special teams on this one? Or are we we say F special teams?
We need a punter. We need a punter.
Anyway, this is how much they respect the punters and special teams on this. They don't even give us that option.
Okay, we'll bump them then. We don't need them.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's go best player available. Let's take the top-rated interior offensive lineman.
Top-rated interior, and okay, that's coming out of in just a moment. We're picking up shortly. It's probably going to be. We're done. Actually, my bad. We're done.
Cool.
We're done. So they graded us a B. So our picks look like this, ladies and gentlemen. Trey Amos with a 30 pick. No trades. We took Joshua Farmer. DT should get some great rotation, get some slide, get something there. He's got some pass rush ability, you said. He's got a little bit on him. We got Jordan Birch on the outside, prototypical type of McDermott guy.
Yeah.
Noah Williams, special teams for now, and then we'll see how that plays out. Jeffrey Bassa, RJ Mickens, Tesla, Dupre, Trevor Etienne, and we got our boy Fadil Diggs. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is your team. That's your squad, man. We got 2 cornerbacks, 2 edge players, a defensive tackle. We got a linebacker, safety, receiver, tight end, bro. That's a good mixed bag. It's a great mixed bag. I like it. What are your thoughts on that bad boy?
I think that earlier on we bet on maybe more production with Trey Amos, but then with Jordan Farmer, we took a bit of a chance on traits, which I think you should on the defensive line. Dolak would have been nice, man. That's on me. That's a bad GM. That's where you need. I would not make that mistake again if the opportunity was presented in front of me. We would keep the hometown boy in the 716. That is my apologies, everyone in the chat, if Dolak was still on the board.
I hear you.
But I think that would be how it will work out. I will prefer, and listen, things shake out. I will prefer some way somehow to get a 3rd round pick, just so it doesn't feel like when that run happens and you miss out on so many players.
True,
positions.
True.
Excuse me,
yeah.
So many positions.
Yep.
So we'll see. I mean, but listen, they may not need a 3rd round pick if the board falls a certain way on day 1 to where you love a player that you can get at 30.
Love it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, my guy gave us his time. We appreciate you. I feel like I could have peppered you with more questions, but bro, you were on it. I appreciate you. And the day doesn't stop. After this, he's got more football to talk. He never gets sick of it. You love to see it. That's my guy. Ladies and gentlemen, Carl Jones in the building. I appreciate your time. You know what it is, man. Listen, I got one more thing.
Yeah.
When this draft is going down, please have your Twitter open.
Yeah.
I might send you a message, be like, yo, your thoughts, because I'm going to be live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I might hit you up and be like, yo, Carl Jones says this. Or if there's a moment, actually, no, you're going to be working. So I can't even say, yo, come on the lick real quick. I might send it to you anyway.
I'll be, so for those at home who don't know, obviously I work in the Buffalo Bills market. Appreciate you, Shannon. You great reports you threw in the chat from time to time.
No doubt.
But I work in the Buffalo Bills market, so I will be at the Bills facility on days 1 and 2 of the draft. So I won't be available to live stream or anything like that. My other job, suit and tie job. Also, shout out to the tie today. Shout out to Syracuse.
Oh, I see that. I like it.
So I'll be doing that, but my Twitter will be working. I'll be watching the draft just like the rest of you. And then when Brandon Bean speaks after they pick or don't pick, I'll come to my feed and I'll let y'all know what he says and don't say.
Excellent. I'll be trying to hit you up. If you happen to look at the DMs, I'll try to keep the specific questions short, and that way you can just give me a done, and then we go from there. But I'll be watching the feed because the feed will tell me everything I need to know of what you're feeling. So I appreciate you, man. Let everybody know what's going on. What's next? What's up? They need to know where you're at, man. I need you guys to follow my guy Carl Jones. Don't mess this up, man. Follow him. He's a great follow. What do you got next? What should people be looking forward to?
Yeah, for sure. So I got I'm gonna be dropping. I mean, y'all saw the nuggets that I had, and a little bit more concise version of just my cornerback rankings and how I feel about these players. That'll be out tomorrow, the day before the draft. And then I'll be doing some stuff with the news station here in terms of best case scenario, worst case scenario, all of my X feed. That'll be out in not in the coming days, tomorrow. So all of that stuff. And then obviously I have reactions to the picks. And when they take a corner or 2, holla at your boy. Come to my X feed. I'll have breakdowns, 2 to 4 minutes or so of
Love it.
they bring and maybe don't bring to the table.
Listen, love it, love it, love it. Listen, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, my man Carl Jones, follow him at Jones11_. Stop playing. Go ahead and follow him. And while you're at it, follow your boy Rico_BF_. Don't play with me. And then we'll get it going, man. Sir, have yourself a great night. We'll catch up soon.
Hey, be blessed. Y'all go. Y'all
Yes,
be
sir.
easy.
Yes, sir. That's my guy, Carl Jones. Always comes through, never disappoints. And we built a great friendship. I love this. I love that about him. If you haven't followed him, do me a favor. Go ahead and follow him, man. He's a good dude. And if you guys enjoyed this stream, smash that like for your boy. Smash that. I love the fact that Carl gave us a different perspective. I love it because like there were things I didn't know about certain players that I'm going to start looking up. So if you see it, here's what it looks like. A realistic potential draft. Trey Amos, we got ourselves a corner. That's going to be a great selection for the Bills. Josh Farmer comes in, was a touted defensive tackle that was up there, and now because some other guys have risen, he's fallen, and maybe he's a great piece for the team, right? Jordan Birch on the edge. Noah Williams it seems to be picking up some steam. They love that. Right in the 4th round pick, and then we go Jeffrey Bassa, R.J. Mickens, and then we go the receiver. We go big time receiver in terms of size. We go deep. We get deep Dupree, CJ Dupree out of Alabama, Trevor Etienne, and then out of Syracuse for Dill. And by the way, that Syracuse pick got us an A. The let me see if I can zoom that in because I can't even see it myself. Let me see. Is it gonna let me know? It's hating right now. So they gave us a B- for Trey, a B- for Josh, a B+ for Jordan Burke, an A- for Noah Williams, which is great, a B for Jeffrey Bassa, a B for Isaac, a B- for CJ Dupree, and then a C+ for Trevor Etienne, and then an A- for Fadil Diggs. Listen, I'll take that, man. That's legit. That's legit. I love it, and I'm here for it. So, folks, that's my time. If you guys enjoyed it, obviously give me that thumbs up, smash that like. We're gonna be back at it again. Come draft time. Holy crap, it's just around the corner, baby. It's just around the corner. So we're back at it again on draft time. I will tell you this right now. I'm gonna be doing double duty on draft night. That's why we're gonna have a team. My man Pierre, Zbop, myself, Kevin, the Miami Dolphins fans, your fan favorite. I have my man Rev. Rev's gonna be joining us. Yo, we're gonna have a time. Come join us. I'll be in and out of the draft because I got to do stuff for Bleacher Report. So once we make the pick, I'll kind of share my thoughts with you guys, and I got to jump right to the Bleacher Report. So I'll be gone for a momentarily, and I'm back at it on the stream with y'all. So that being said, if you haven't followed me on Bleacher, download the app, find me Rico_BF. You know the deal, and then we'll go from there, folks. I gotta get out of here. We appreciate you. If you guys enjoyed this stream, do it again, smash it, share it, and hopefully I get so geeked up, I might be back at it again tomorrow and do another stream just to kind of, update on certain things that have gone down. So what is Brandon Beane going to do? What's his strategy? Is he trading up? Is he trading down? Is he staying put? If he trades up, it's going to be something. If he trades down, we're going to be like last year. Oh, we got to wait till day 2. But golly, is day 2 going to be a packed day 2. So stay tuned. Y'all have yourself a great afternoon. I got to get out of here. I'm about to go see that movie Sinners. I got friends that are waiting for me, so I got to get out of here. So until next time, folks, it's your guy. It's your boy Rico, Buffalo Fanatics. Hit that smash like before you guys get out of here. Smash that like. I will catch you guys on the flip. Until next time, it's your boy. And I'm gone. Let me get my banner up, and we'll get out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace.